It's Wednesday, June 14th, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. First up, we're going to learn more about the upcoming Quahog Day with Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Wendy Northcross. Then we'll chat with Assistant Airport Manager Katie Service. She's going to tell us all about the work they are doing to attract new air service. And finally, we'll chat with Program Coordinator George Noonan. He's going to tell us all about this weekend's Father-Daughter Dance at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's go ahead and get a look at today's top headlines. Town Council will consider holding a special town election ahead of the Cape Cod Regional Technical High School vote. The special election would be to vote on a Proposition 2.5 override that would fund a new Cape Cod Regional Technical High School should the new building project be approved by voters in October. Town Council will also consider a proposal to spend $375,000 in community preservation funds to help pay for a new playground at the Barnstable West Barnstable Elementary School. Town Council meets at 7 this Thursday night in the Town Hall hearing room. The Growth Management Department is working to update the town's open space and recreation plan. The plan is used to identify challenges, potential areas of growth, and priorities for open space. Once approved by the Massachusetts Division of Conservation Services, the town will be able to qualify for state grants related to land acquisition. Residents can be a part of the update process by taking a quick survey. You can find the survey by visiting the Town of Barnstable's Facebook page and clicking through to the Growth Management Division section. Improvements are being planned for Barnstable Village. The $2 to $3 million Barnstable Village Improvements Project calls for improving pedestrian safety. That'll be done by slowing traffic, installing new sidewalks and crosswalks, and adding more lighting. The project is still being developed. Residents will have a chance to weigh in on the plans during a public meeting Tuesday, June 27th at 3 p.m. The meeting will be held in the Harbor View Conference Room at the Barnstable County Complex. Well, up next, we're going to learn more about Quahog Day with Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Wendy Northcross. Wendy, so glad to talk to you. It must be a very exciting time for you and the folks at the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce heading into the busy season, getting ready for summer. And one thing that always screams summertime to me is Quahog Day. Tell me a little bit about that.
Quahog Day is coming, and we're very excited. We're polishing up our clam buckets, and we're sharpening up our clam rakes. And Doug the Quahog is he's practicing his prognostication. And, for folks that don't know by now, this is the 9th year, but Quahog Day is when we hear from the official Cape Cod Quahog how many days of beach weather lie ahead. And we can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm telling you, the event, too, it's hard to think that it's already been, did you say 9 years?
This will be the 9th year.
Wow. It just, time flies, but I guess it makes sense because it does feel like this has been something that's been happening forever, a tradition here on Cape Cod. The event has really grown over the years. Last year, I went to cover the event with our crew here at Channel 18. The turnout was amazing, and I loved hearing from everybody in the audience because they were talking about where they'd come from. And this is a draw for people, even off Cape. I heard a lot of people last year were there from Fall River. They had heard it on the radio. They wanted to come be a part of it. And I think that's exciting for us here on the Cape.
Well, it really is kind of a fun event. What was designed to be purely a public relations stunt, if you will, has turned into sort of a rite of passage for a lot of people. That's how they bring summer on. And Doug the Quahog actually has followers and groupies that have been at every single one. They have every T-shirt from every year. They love to have their picture taken with him. Of course, I think the free chowder and lobster rolls don't hurt either.
And the great locations. You guys always have such fun, different locations. You kind of move around each year. This year, where is it going to be held?
So this year, we are on the beach in South Yarmouth. We're going to be at the Blue Water Resort, and we're going to do that on the first day of summer, which is a Wednesday, and we'll do it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're hoping that we'll be able to accommodate enough people for parking, because if you can remember last year, the parking was crazy. We had such a great turnout because we also had good weather. But this year we're going to be hosted by the Davenport companies who own the Blue Water Resort, and they've got a whole bunch of fun things planned. But they also went to the town of Yarmouth and got parking approved for us, basically one of the public parking spots at South Middle Beach parking lot. So we should not have a problem this year. Anybody that wants to go and witness this phenomenon of nature and the prognostication of weather, they're welcome to attend. There's no charge.
And it is such a fun event, too. Each year you have a guest meteorologist. Who do we have on tap this year?
So this year, NBC made a bunch of changes in their TV stations in Boston. So there's a whole new NBC TV crew out of Boston, and we are very fortunate to have Michael Page, who's going to MC the festivities beginning at 2 o'clock. And he's a meteorologist. He grew up in New England. He understands the weather really well in Vermont, and he has his own weather prediction, but we depend more on our Quahog because he's got a better track record, quite honestly.
That's right. And I'm hoping we get a good tally. What was the last year's result from Doug the Quahog? What was his prediction last year?
Oh, gosh. I think last year was 100 days of beach weather. And we actually have our visitor center staff track the beach weather pattern and to see if at the end of the summer he was correct. And for the 7th year in a row, he nailed it. The only year he's goofed was the first year when he predicted tons of beach weather and it kind of rained all summer.
Well, let's hope he is spot on this summer and that he has a great prediction for lots and lots of sunny beach days so that we can have another great summer here on Cape Cod for businesses and the like. Right,
because it's been kind of a hard spring.
It really has. It has not stopped raining.
The lawns look great. There's no drought conditions. That's terrific. But people are just getting ready. They just want some good old summer beach weather, hot days outside. And I don't know, fingers crossed. We'll have to see what Doug says.
Well, and I have to tell you, Wendy, I've noticed a big increase in traffic over the last couple of weeks. So I don't think the rain is keeping anyone away.
That's true. There is the whole theory about a strong economy will get people to take some time off. If people, have a job and they're comfortable in their pocketbook, they'll make a discretionary spend on some time off. They'll take a short getaway. They'll take a whole week. And, on Cape Cod, it's really popular to rent homes. But yeah, I think people are just, after a New England winter, they're just ready for summer.
Oh yeah, we all are. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us today, telling us all about Quahog Day. We cannot wait until Wednesday, June 21st.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right, talk to you soon, Wendy.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Our guest today, President and CEO of the Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Wendy Northcross. Barnstable Municipal Airport staff are working to bring in additional airlines. We're going to learn more about the effort with Assistant Airport Manager Katie Service. So Katie, really excited to chat with you today. I know you recently attended a conference in Providence, the Jumpstart Conference. Tell me a little bit about this event.
Sure. So the Jumpstart Conference is a conference that's basically known as airline speed dating. And so what it is that you have a number of airlines that show up at this conference, and they try to match your airport with the airlines, and then you basically sit with them for about a 20-minute segment interval to talk about your airport, to talk about what your needs may be at the facility, what you can offer the airline. And so it's really a chance to kind of say, this is what, Cape and the Islands has to offer, and this is what we think your airline can do for us and vice versa. So it's really, a 20-minute interview. You talk about your airport, you ask them questions, they ask you questions, and if they have an interest in your facility, usually you follow up with them. But it's a good, quick meeting, and then you follow up, later on through the years to see if they're interested in coming to the airport.
Yeah, and this is really something. When did you decide to attend this conference?
So basically, we had a loss in airline service when Island Airlines closed their doors in December of 2015. So that really identified to us that there was such a reduction in passenger enplanements, basically passengers getting onto the aircraft aircraft at our airport, there was such a significant reduction in passengers that were flowing through our facility that we knew that we had to look at, other service that was available to close the gap, if you will. In addition to that, we also have an off-season need for airline service. So right when Island Airlines closed their doors, we had already been talking about, in fact, we had a consultant on board that was already going to these jumpstart events on our behalf, looking to get additional service to the airport, whether it be in season or off season, basically looking to include more service in Hyannis. So this was close to home, being in Providence, Rhode Island. We said, all right, let's tag team them. Let's go ahead with our consultant. And not only that, also with Nantucket Airport, to say, look, we know that in season we have a lot of traffic that goes to Nantucket Airport and to the Vineyard, and it's serviced well. We have JetBlue that comes to our airport in the season during in season, but off season there's still a need for aviation service for the islands and for the Cape. And so we kind of tag teamed some of these airlines, and we sat down with them and with Nantucket Airport saying that there's definitely a need here for off-season service. You can serve not only Hyannis, but you can also serve the islands that would definitely cash in on this type of service coming to Hyannis.
Now, did you get any leads or any interest generated from the conference?
We definitely did. And so we met with 7 airlines, and of the 7 airlines, I would have to say that there were 4 definite leads. I won't say who at this point, but there were 4 definite leads. And the whole reason I think that we got anywhere with them was looking at this regional approach, basically working with Nantucket Airport and saying, once the summer traffic goes, there's still a need here for people to access the air transportation system. And Nantucket Airport sees Hyannis as a hub. And if you really look at it, Hyannis has the hub of transportation here, centrally located on the Cape. We have train service that comes here. We have bus service that comes here. We have the airport that's here. So it's a logical choice to say that this is the hub of transportation activity here for the Cape and the islands. So going to this jump start and speaking to these airlines about this regional approach was actually the key to get our foot in the door. And there seemed to be much more interest with this regional look than there has been in the past.
Well, so good to hear, and I think so interesting that you guys are working so hard to try and fill that void left by Island Air. Where do you hope, did you use at all the JetBlue experience and try and explain how that recent service has worked out well for them?
We definitely did. We talked about JetBlue service. In fact, JetBlue was one of the airlines that we did sit with. And we talked about how successful their service has been, especially in season. And there is room to actually add additional flights in season, perhaps by JetBlue. I'm not sure, but they seemed interested. Because there's such a high demand in the summertime for their flights to and from JFK, they seemed interested in potentially adding additional flights because it would probably work for them in the summertime.
Right, and if they've already have that kind of set up, we'll keep our fingers crossed for you, Katie.
I hope that works out, correct.
Yeah. Want to ask you too, I know it's a very busy time of year for the airport. The FAA actually has an annual inspection. When does this occur?
So typically for us, it can change in any year, but typically it's May-June time frame that we do an annual inspection. And the reason for the inspection is because we do have airlines that come in that require our airport to hold certain certifications. So the FAA is coming in, and what they do is they look at our airfield in general to make sure that we're meeting FAA standards for the airlines that are going to operate here. So they look at the condition of our pavements, the condition of our runways and taxiways, our signs and our lights, how we're maintaining the facility, and they also look at our training records for our staff that are here. So they do that annually. Every year we have things that we can work on, that we can improve upon, and they make notes of that, and basically come up with a list of kind of a to-do list for the airport of where we need to make some adjustments.
Almost nice to have that feedback, and they may have knowledge about ways things work best in other, like best practices from other airports that they can share. So always, I think, a nice growing time of reflection.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate the chance to chat with you about the airport and everything that's happening, and hope to chat with you in the near future.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Our guest today, Assistant Airport Manager Katie Service. And now we share our in-depth coverage of the Intergenerational Tea that was held last week at the Barnstable Senior Center. High school students are learning a lot about life thanks to intergenerational activities with the Barnstable Senior Center. Recently, the class of 2020 attended an Intergenerational Tea at the Senior Center. During the event, Assistant Town Clerk Janet Murphy presented the Boston Post-Cane Award to the oldest resident in Barnstable, and the students had time to chat with some of the more mature residents in our community.
I think the opportunity just to bring the students and seniors together is such a rare thing to actually make it happen. And I think what really today is about is the fact that our community has worked to bring everyone together for this just glorious event. I mean, this today is a celebration of community, essentially. I mean, that is how I think all of us are looking at this. And I think, for the students, they're going to walk away thinking, I mean, listen to the noise in the background. This is conversations that are happening just by bringing people together. It's amazing, through just giving people an opportunity to actually be social, enjoy a cup of tea and some desserts, and the conversation is a very organic thing. So I feel that the students are going to walk away feeling very enlightened by listening and talking to the seniors and listening to the stories of their lives that they're sharing today. And also, I think more importantly, have a deeper sense of respect for what seniors in our community mean, particularly here in Barnstable, where our demographics, we have such a high percentage of seniors, given the fact that we have about 30% of our population now is over 60, and that we have, almost 600 seniors over 90, about 50 of whom are here with us today. It's not every day you get to create this kind of an opportunity for connection, and I think that's what I'm most grateful for. And I think for the seniors, just the fact that they feel so appreciated, that it was so important and meaningful for them to come here today. It wasn't so easy for all of them to get here, but the fact that they felt that the community was all about them today, and that it was important for them to be here, I think is just a wonderful experience. And the fact that we have 3 of our citizens over 100 that are joining us today, I think is just absolutely tremendous. And being able to honor our oldest resident, Dorothy Robinson, who, she's an inspiration. Let's just face it, the woman is just full of joy and radiance and purpose, and just goes to show, that living longer really proves that life is what you make it, and she's making it, she's making it very meaningful and purposeful still. I think it's just this is an amazing day.
This year, 2017, the recipient is Dorothy Robinson of Hyannis. Dorothy's parents, Marthina and James Jean, came to Indiana in a covered wagon with a team of horses, a journey of several weeks crossing the Missouri River. The wagon started to float off its frame while on the Missouri River, but they managed to salvage the wagon. They carried chickens underneath the wagon for Sunday's dinner. We all can relate to chicken on Sunday. They started farming in Clinton County, Indiana, built a log cabin where Dorothy was born. The windmill still stands in the middle of a cornfield all by itself. They subsequently moved into a house. No indoor plumbing, no running water, a pump outside in the backyard, baths in a big tub with water warm from the sun during the summer. Dorothy went to business college in Fort Wayne, Indiana, traveling alone on what was called the Interurban Electric Train to Fort Wayne, Indiana. She found a job as a nanny to help support herself while she finished school. She graduated, got a job at a credit bureau, and met her future husband, Ronald, who had been transferred by the General Electric Company in New England to Fort Wayne, Indiana, where they lived until 1955. He then was transferred to Holland, Michigan, where he worked as a sales engineer until his retirement. Dorothy lost her beloved husband, Ronald, and has been a widow since 2000. Incidentally, talking with Dorothy today is Ronald's birthday, so we'd like to think that he's up looking down at her today. Dorothy moved here 3 years ago to live in Barnstable to be with her daughter, Peggy. She is 104 years old, and I would love to know her secrets that keep her with her longevity. Please place your hands together and give a warm welcome to Dorothy Robinson.
We're going to present Dorothy. The students from 2020 class brought a beautiful floral arrangement. I should also add they did make beautiful corsages for our 3 centenarians that are here with us today. And Janet is going to present our Boston Post cane certificate, as well as a pin that is a replica of the original cane that Barnstable still has. Barnstable has, over at Town Hall, the original Boston Post cane that was given to us in 1909. Thank you so much, Dorothy, for being here.
Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
I'm overwhelmed. Almost. I thank all of you, and as I said at a party for my 100th birthday, I recommend it.
Part of the class spirit and the class identity, we really wanted our class to have a legacy of community service. It's something unique because we feel it's a great opportunity to kind of bring our class together and also build momentum and connection with the community. So we asked them we took a survey and said, who would you most like to work with? And overwhelmingly, they said the Senior Center. So it was so exciting. And when I did ask a couple of them, why the Senior Center, they mentioned their grandparents. Our class president, Olivia, her grandmother used to come here and do things. And she just thought her grandmother spoke so highly of the Senior Center that it seemed like a natural connection.
Well, we really just wanted to get together in our community and share experiences with each other and learn more about what each other has gone through and information on their life in the past. So we really get together in our community.
They're kind of pulling me aside as I walk by and just talking about, she was just telling about her first phone call, and she was telling me about the one-room schoolhouse she went to. So I already think they have. It's amazing. I mean, in the world of technology, when kids can't even have communication with each other, to see them sitting here and talking to these people just warms my heart.
Barnstable is doing so many great things intergenerationally, and we talk about cultivating an intergenerational mindset, and that's what's going on here in Barnstable. And it's fabulous that the freshman class has adopted the Senior Center as their agency and is looking forward to 4 years of collaboration.
John is really funny, and he has a lot of great stories.
Do you think that you're going to take a lot away from today's Intergenerational Tea?
I really do. It's very educational and fun, and it's a great way to learn.
So what about you, John? What has the day been like for you?
Oh, it's been great. It was super to meet Rebecca, I haven't talked to a young girl like this, a stranger, in a long, long time, and it's been an experience for me. I know that, We're going over these questions now, and I'm reversing them. I'm putting them back on her, too. And but that's okay, too. But it's been a great, great day, and I'm so glad that I was invited here,
In today's community calendar, we're actually going to chat with Program Coordinator George Noonan about this weekend's Father-Daughter Dance. So, George, an exciting weekend for fathers this weekend. Of course, Father's Day is Sunday. Lots of activity around the holiday. And you guys are having a very special event Friday night, the 5th annual Father-Daughter Dance.
Yep, yes, looking forward to it.
What kinds of things will fathers and daughters be able to take advantage of when they come to the dance?
Well, when they first come in, they check in the door and pay their entrance fee, which is $20 per couple. They get the young ladies receive a corsage at that point that they can wear on their wrist. From there, they go on and take a picture, a memento, a keepsake, a picture of significant other that's with them and their daughter. Take a picture, and then into the dance part. And we have a DJ playing music, and we have all sorts of delicious snacks and like cookies and cupcakes and juice and water and fruit and stuff like that set up for them to eat. And then during the night we do a couple of contests and games, like limbo or freeze dance, or maybe this year might be a father-daughter dance competition.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yes.
It's so important, I think, to get out and really enjoy a special time with fathers and daughters. But this isn't just for fathers and daughters. This is really for anybody who has a special relationship.
Absolutely. I know for myself, one of the reasons why, I did this dance was a few years ago when I was working back at the Boys and Girls Club in Mashpee. A young member of the club actually invited me to her father-daughter dance.
Wow.
And she was a Girl Scout. So, I made a big deal of it at the time. I got dressed up, wore a suit and tie, got her flowers, and it was a nice night. And, a few years ago, even before the HYCC opened, Mark Bordley ran the event at the senior center for the town. And then all of our jobs changed when the HYCC opened. The event kind of was held off to the side. And I was like, I'm going to bring this back, because I just thought it was such a cool idea.
And it's such an important time. I think it really does give young girls an idea of how they should be treated, and they have that feeling special. So really, and only $20 per couple, so very affordable. And it's intended for kids in grades 1 through 7. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
Yeah, so a really fun time. Thank you, George, for joining us today and telling us everything we need to know about the father-daughter dance. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime.
All right, talk to you soon, George.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
My guest today, Program Coordinator George Noonan. Well, thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.